Welcome again, guys, to this channel. This is Proving the Markets. I'm KojaxPro, and today we'll be talking about a currency pair. This is the midweek of the trading week. So we're going to talk about one currency pair that has been a lot of debate in the minds of a lot of traders. So today we'll be talking about NZDUSD. And the reason why we're talking about this is because a lot of traders are thinking that the dollar-based pairs are going to tank to the downside. Some of them are watching DXY, and then it's good to interpret the movement of DXY across other US dollar-based pairs, because DXY is like the index of the dollar-based pairs. So what it means is that if DXY is going up, most of the dollar-based pairs are going to be tanking to the downside. And it's good to have that kind of comparison when you're making your analysis as a trader. But I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again on this channel, that you should treat every currency pair individually. I did make a video the previous time about GBP USD and Euro USD, and I specifically mentioned that do not join issues with two currency pairs. Some traders love to trade Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD. I mean, if they take a position, a buy position on Euro USD, they just want to jump straight to NZDUSD or AUD USD or GBP USD and take corresponding buy trades. That's not going to get you anywhere as such towards profitability. So in this case now, some traders did say that NZDUSD is bearish, and they're already being totally bearish on this trade. I'm going to put a couple of screenshots here. Traders saying that, oh, it's all smokes and mirrors. And then some traders are standing off on their hands just to see what the market does. Like I said, not everyone knows how to analyze this market this way. So here at KojaxPro Trading, we are going to analyze NZDUSD and see what the market has for us. If you're new to this channel, subscribe now. Without wasting so much time, let's get into the charts. So this is my NZDUSD chart, and you know how we usually start our analysis for the monthly. All we do on the monthly time frame is just to check for the bias. Bias means context and what is NZDUSD doing. So from what I can see here, simple, straightforward, NZDUSD is going to the downside. At least that's what I can see from the macro level. Now I'm going to zoom into the micro level, or some sort of a micro level, and that's the weekly time frame. So all I do on the weekly time frame now is to check out for an inner trend line. So in this case now, NZDUSD has showed us that it's overall bearish on the monthly time frame. Now on the weekly time frame, I see some sort of a kind of an inner trend line right about here. So I'm just going to draw this trend line from here and allow it to run all the way. So this shows that price came, this is the first touch of the trend line, this is the second touch of the trend line, this is the third touch of the trend line, and it tanked to the downside, and I just left this trend line. And price has come back here several times, blown up above the trend line, still went below it, and it's reacting right around the trend line, right about here. So I'm not updating this trend line because we are in a bearish market and structure has not changed for NZDUSD to start trading it to the upside. And you guys know I made a video recently about market structure. If you've not watched that video to understand when the market is ready to move in the next direction, go and watch it right here. Now, structure hasn't changed for NZDUSD, and here in the weekly time frame, I'm actually seeing something that looks like a chart pattern. So on the chart, on this now, I can see a chart pattern right about here. Now, not many traders are going to be able to spot this. On the weekly time frame, all you need to do is to look out for two things. Is there any chart pattern, or have you drawn your key levels? So I usually draw my key levels on the weekly time frame. So in this case now, I'm seeing what looks like a chart pattern. Now, I'm just going to draw this chart pattern right here so that everyone can see it clearly and tell me what chart pattern this is. So I'm going to color it this. So this looks like a chart pattern, in which case these tops, these bottoms you're seeing here. So in this case, these bottoms you're seeing here is looking like a triple bottom. So this is the left bottom, and then this looks like a middle bottom, and this looks like also a right bottom. Now, if you were not able to spot this, these are succinct signs. Small, simple, clean signs the market shows traders to know, to tell traders what it's going to do. I told you guys that the market will always tell you what it wants to do. So if this is a triple bottom, and you guys know chart patterns can reverse trends. So a triple bottom is a bullish reversal pattern. Now, what has happened here clearly is that the market has blown above like such and has come back to retest this neckline. So what we are doing now, we are retesting the neckline of a triple bottom. Now, should you be thinking of going bearish? Like I said initially, that we are still below the overall trend line that the monthly has detected for us. Now, the weekly trend line, which is this one, the inner trend line right about here, price reacted around it and has come back to trade below the trend line. Now, should you also continue to trade in the direction of the monthly? This is where I say that traders need to be careful because of a chart pattern has its basics. A break and a retest of that chart pattern is going to take that trade spiraling to the direction of the chart pattern. Now, if this market retests this level and holds, best believe that we're going to see a spike of NZDUSD to the upside. Now, I've spotted this chart pattern. Let's go ahead and plot our key levels. So quickly, we're going to map out our key levels, and I'll do this quickly. So this is a level. This is a level as well. So our key levels has been plotted nicely now. Now these key levels have been plotted, and we should also take note that the major key levels, which are as well I've plotted on the weekly time frame, are to be respected by price whenever price gets to those levels. Now we trade from zone to zone, and we've seen that we have a neckline right about here of this triple bottom. We have a neckline here. Let me give you a trick, guys, on how to prevent yourself from entering into premature trades or entering into trades that are not in line with market perspective. Now, you know that the market is saying we're bearish, but a chart pattern is also forming on the weekly time frame, which is the time frame that you need to be focusing on to know whether there is going to be a trend reversal, because anytime you see a chart pattern on the weekly time frame, most likely that the prevailing trend is going to reverse. Now, you should be careful around this region. There's no need trying to be assertive that we are on a bullish trend or we are on a bearish trend. The market is showing you that this particular currency pair, as at now, is having a lot of issues as to which direction it wants to go. It's kind of confused. So when the market is confused like this, why is it you as a trader that is supposed to be following the market that will want to be more assertive? So that's where you get into, that's where a lot of traders run into issues and then get their accounts blown in the process. So in this kind of case, knowing that this is what the market is showing me, I'm going to wait. Now, what am I waiting for, guys? I'll also let you in on a little secret, guys. So on the weekly time frame, we have seen that we're about retesting the neckline of a major chart pattern. Now go to the daily. Now, one thing I need to point out clearly is I do not like to trade whenever, even if we have a retest here, like you can see that the market is retesting this level nicely and then it's seeming to have bullish candles. I will not be entering or quick to enter any trades until this trend line, you see this trend line right about here. I need the market to come and take away this trend line. So the retest needs to happen, and then exactly we need to break above this trend line. Now, when we break above this line, some traders will be like, oh, the stop loss distance is going to be too wide. Yes, because I don't enter exactly on the retest. I wait for the counter trend line to be broken, and as well I look left to right to see whether there are any levels on the daily time frame, because now we're on the daily time frame. We have plotted our monthly levels, we have plotted our weekly levels. On the daily time frame, I need to also watch out for the daily levels. Now, the way I talk about this is the monthly will have its levels, the weekly have its levels, the daily will have its levels, and you need to be trading off most times on the 4-hour time frame. But you should also be careful of the daily levels as well. So all this you take into consideration before you take a trade. Now, to make this easy, I've actually put together my price action quick start course. In that course, I show you guys how to draw your key levels. I show you guys how to draw your key levels from the monthly to the weekly to the daily down to the 4 hours, so that you can see that once the market breaks above this, you know where you're trading into. You're not trading into obstruction. So you know exactly where you're going to in terms of taking your trade entries. Ideally, I trade from zone to zone, but I usually like to map out the least zone and then take my trades from there up onto the next zone, ideally on the monthly time frame. So if I see a 4-hour zone that is going to prevent my trade from progressing to its required target, I'm going to be cautious of it. If I see it on the daily, I'll be cautious of it. Now, in this case, in NZDUSD, to show you that these zones really matter, in this case, in NZDUSD, once we break above this trend line, I'll also be expecting this particular zone right here. So if you look closely, you can see that there are a lot of reactions right about this level. So this is a reaction here. So this is also a reaction here in the past. So there are a lot of reactions right about here. in the past. So you can see clearly that even right here, so right about here, there's a reaction here, and there's also a reaction right here. So you can see clearly that in the past, we have had series of reactions, and that tells us that there is a zone there. We need to take cognizance of that zone. And good for us, since we have spotted that zone, we're just going to quickly plot out our daily level there so that we can trade off that zone and be sure that we are not running into any problem. And then color the zone, yeah, this color. So what am I expecting for NZDUSD? Simple. So I'll just take off these as well. So now the daily zone has been plotted. All I need is for a good retest, like the market is already retesting here. I need the market to push up all the way to this zone, take away this zone. And at the same time it's taking away the zone, you can see that it's also taking away the trend line. So this shows that everything comes together to make you confident in your trade entries. So the market is not just going to show you random candles. These are not just random candles, although it's mass human psychology and it can be a bit random. But when you employ real pro trader analysis, just like I'm doing now, you come to the market knowing that the market actually is there to help you trade off it in the best profitable manner. But if you don't have that kind of belief, if you don't have that kind of notion, you'll be struggling with this market. So in this case, the market has showed us that there is a confluence of that trend line that we were having issues with. We need the market to break above that trend line. And on that trend line as well, we can see that there is a zone there. So once we take off this zone right about here and retest, you know how I really love to trade, guys. I love to do break and retest. So once we trade this off this zone and then retest it to the downside here, then I will be waiting. This is where I'll be waiting to draw my trigger. So once I take trades off this zone, I'll have a better risk to reward. I will not risk as much as I would have if I started trading from here. So here, this is how I will likely align for this trade. Take my first take profit somewhere around here. I'll just close some positions actually here. I'll close some positions here and then allow the rest to run all the way up. Everything now is stemming from this chart pattern right here. So we can see now this chart pattern, we are looking at it now on the daily time frame. This chart pattern is beginning to tell us that NZDUSD might want to shoot to the upside. It might want to shoot to the upside. So there's no need to remove your mind from the possibility that a bullish sentiment is actually looming on NZDUSD. So in this case now, if this happens, this is how I want to take this trade. Now, because all these things are all probabilistic. Now, this is the highly probabilistic take on NZDUSD to the upside. Now, if the reverse happens, now in this case now, if we don't do this and maybe the market is not only just coming to retest this neckline of this triple top, maybe the market is actually coming back to trade in its original direction. So in which case, if this neckline is broken and retest here, just know that it's now a failed chart pattern, and once a chart pattern fails, the original trend prevails. So the only trigger here for me to continue to sell NZDUSD is if this neckline is broken to the downside, and then we have a setup like such. And then you guys know how I love to take my setup. I'll just quickly scale to the 4-hour and take this trade to the downside. Actually, it will be a smoother trade to the downside than to the upside, because if we are trading to the upside, once a setup kicks off, we'll be taking profits at different levels. We'll take profits here, we'll take profits here, then eventually we'll now take profits at the overall level, which is right up there. So if we are going up for NZDUSD, we'll actually be locking in profits, a lot of profit. But if we get a bearish setup, we'll have a stretch trade to the downside. No jokes about that. So this is my take on NZDUSD, and it's good when you know that you don't know how to trade this market the right way, and then you stand off your hands. NZDUSD is not a pair I love to trade, but you can see how we have dissected this market to know exactly what it's doing using the KojaxPro trading system. And if you want to trade like this, I told you, and I'm saying it again, if you want to trade like this and trade like a professional, just head straight and grab the KojaxPro trading course. It's actually called Price Action Quick Start. It's going to level up your trading, and it's going to make you trade profitably like this and start making money. Can't you see the way I'm dissecting the charts? If you want to shorten your learning curve quickly and start seeing the market for what it truly is, and then start trading in this way, which I will reiterate here that is the best way to go about your trading, go now and join the course. And I'll be waiting to see you on the inside, because once traders trade like this, we all be profitable. Understand? Once you trade like this, we'll be able to collaborate. I love collaborations, but I want to see real progress as we're doing so. So if you want to get the course, go down and grab the course. The link is down below and I will see you on the inside. Now, this is my take for NZDUSD and that's what I've decided to say on this. And I will see you guys in my next video.